welcome to the newly renamed Modern Witch Mama podcast. So, I have been wanting to do this re-intro episode for a little while now, and I really just was waiting for the right time to share this with all of you that are listening. But this podcast has officially been rebranded, and we're still going to be talking a lot about what we used to talk about on the Awakened Intuitive Motherhood Journey podcast. But so let me just tell you a little bit about what my journey has been the past, I would say, 4 to 6 months in coming to this decision to go ahead and change over the podcast. And I started a YouTube channel by the same name, Modern Witch Mama. And so I have been deep in my own spiritual journey and figuring out what is the best path forward for my podcast and showing up in the world. And so this rebrand, this renaming of Modern Witch Mama is really for those mamas out there that have this deep desire to reclaim your inner power and your inner divinity, and to also reimagine this word witch as it's been presented to us in a patriarchal way, right? So we're reclaiming the word witch as a woman in total control of herself and as a divine feminine being. So if this calls to you, please keep listening. We're going to be having a lot of topics surrounding this and how I got to my own journey, in the witch journey, in the modern witch journey, and just coming back home to myself pretty much. So for far too long, for centuries upon centuries upon centuries, right? The patriarchy has condemned witches as evil beings, as doing the work of the devil. But that ends now. Here on this podcast and in my spaces, we are reclaiming our witchy and intuitive powers, our psychic powers. We're opening up to our spiritual gifts, and we're awakening to just how powerful we are as empowered intuitive leaders of our own realities. So on this podcast, you can expect to find both the practical and mystical tools that will guide your journey forward, as well as personal stories, rituals, spells, all the fun stuff that I have been getting into in the past year or so, and interviews with other divine feminine leaders who are creating the changes they wish to see in the world. So this isn't just about the aesthetics of witches, and it isn't just about love or money attraction spells, although those are fun topics too. But this is a movement. It's an awakening of that divine feminine power that lives within us that may have been laying dormant. It's now time to wake up to that power that is right inside of us. So it's time for all of us to reclaim our rightful place as divine feminine healers, witches, intuitives, spiritual workers, spiritual leaders, empaths, healers. If you are called to this podcast, it's for a reason. So I want to welcome you into this space and let us dive into this divine feminine journey all together. And I just wanted to also mention that even if you do not identify yourself as a witch, just remember, witch is a woman in total control of herself. So, regardless if you have a witchcraft practice or you currently do things that are associated with Wicca or witchcraft, that's not really what this is all about. Although I will incorporate spells and rituals and fun witchy things into this podcast. We really are talking about reclaiming the divine feminine force, and witch is a part of that, because for so long witches were condemned, and witches were the healers in societies. They were the medicine women. They were the women out in the community providing the resources and the care and the solutions to problems and the tinctures to help people get better from different diseases and illnesses. And so this is really about reclaiming that word in a worldwide sort of sense and taking it back from the patriarchy. So I just wanted to really emphasize that, you are not excluded here if you don't call yourself a witch. I still would love for you to listen to these episodes, because I believe that you can get so much out of just being in this space and in this community with other people that are awakening to their divine feminine force within. And I am so excited to see where this project goes. And I invite you to join me here week by week as I have solo episodes and guest episodes, all diving deeper into the divine feminine journey. So, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to be here if you've been listening through the different podcast name changes. And I will see you back here next week on the podcast.